At exactly 2:47 a.m., motion sensors inside the abandoned east wing of the hospital were triggered. The blurry security footage captured a chilling sight. A ghostly white figure floating about 1 meter above the ground, dressed in what looked like an old hospital gown. It hovered silently in front of room 304, completely still, as if waiting for something or someone. After about a minute, the figure began to move slowly down the hallway toward the stairwell. There were no footsteps, no sound, just a floating motion, with its gown trailing behind like mist. The air around it flickered slightly, and a faint buzzing noise could be heard in the audio. As it reached the top of the stairs, the figure began to fade. First the feet, then the arms, and finally the head. Within seconds, it vanished completely into thin air. The hallway fell silent once again. Room 304 has been sealed ever since. Everything began just after midnight. A faint sound, like fingernails scraping against old wood, echoed from the empty hallway. The woman sensed something was wrong. Her heart began to race, and her eyes locked onto the gap beneath the door. Then from that gap, it appeared, a hand, small, unnatural, resembling that of a child, but disturbingly grotesque. The fingers were long and twisted, the skin deathly pale, stretched tightly over bone. It slipped under the door silently, searching for something. Not in a hurry. There was intention. Hunger. And then, the face followed. The eyes were wide open, dry and unblinking. The mouth hung agape, twisted into a horrific grin, far too large for any child's face. It didn't speak. It didn't blink. It only stared, like it was studying her fear. She couldn't move, couldn't scream. Then the hand found something. A small toy she had never seen before, lying on the floor. It gripped the object tightly, then slowly pulled back, dragging the toy and that decaying face back into the darkness. quiet Sunday. The Callahans were playing indoor mini golf when Mrs. Callahan noticed the guest room door, usually shut, was now slightly open. Curious, Mr. Callahan walked over, but before he could touch it, the door slowly pushed itself inward. There was no wind, no draft, just that long, deliberate creak.
What the hell was that?
Hello?
Hello?
Inside the dim room, nothing moved until the chair did. A wooden chair in the corner began to rotate slowly, turning to face them. No one pushed it, no vibration. It simply turned, like something unseen had taken a seat. The air grew colder. A faint static filled the silence. Then, stillness. The door stayed open. The chair remained turned. They left the room and never went back.
What the hell was that? Hello?
Just get out of the house.
What the hell was that? Hello?
Two best friends were playing a popular online challenge, recording themselves with a phone placed in front of them. The room was dimly lit, filled with laughter and nervous energy as they followed each step of the creepy game. Midway through the challenge, one of the girls stood up, giggled nervously, and said she'd continue the next part outside. She walked out, leaving her friend alone, still sitting in front of the phone camera. But something changed. The moment the door closed, the expression on the remaining girl's face shifted. Her smile faded. Her eyes became hollow, fixed on something the camera couldn't see. She didn't blink, didn't move. Her mouth opened slightly, as if whispering to someone, but no sound came out. Her head tilted unnaturally to one side, and for a brief moment, her reflection on the screen didn't match her real movement. It was as if something had stayed behind when her friend left, something that now wore her face. A group of 5 friends decided to explore an abandoned apartment inside an old, crumbling complex, rumored to be haunted by a mysterious death years ago. The door creaked open with a long screech. Cold air spilled out. The walls were stained as if smeared with dried blood. The group stepped in, flashlight scanning the shadows. The door creaked open with a long screech. Cold air spilled out. The walls were stained, as if smeared with dried blood. The group stepped in, flashlights scanning the shadows. None of them noticed the presence beside them. Even those standing just inches from the ghost sensed nothing strange. They laughed, joked, completely unaware of the horror unfolding right in front of them. It wasn't until later, when one of them casually reviewed the apartment's security footage, that the truth came crashing down, and it was far worse than they could have imagined. Late at night, a boy sat alone watching TV, slowly eating his ice cream. The room was silent, only the faint sound of the screen filled the air. Suddenly, a wooden chair beside him began to move on its own. It slowly slid back from the table, as if something invisible was quietly taking a seat. It was strange, and it made the boy feel a little scared. The boy froze. His ice cream dropped to the floor. The chair rocked gently, then slowly turned toward him. Terrified, he screamed and ran out of the room, still clutching the remote in his hand. Behind him, the chair kept rocking, its wooden legs creaking with a slow, rhythmic krr, krr, like it was quietly laughing at something no one else could see, a sound so unnatural, it could send chills down anyone's spine. The girl was alone in the kitchen, searching for something inside the fridge. The space was silent, with only the faint buzzing of the fluorescent light above her head. She opened one drawer after another, rummaging through the cabinets, her eyes scanning the room as if looking for something important. But behind her, the kitchen door, once nearly shut, began to slowly creak open. No breeze, no footsteps, no one touched it. She froze. Something had changed. The air had suddenly turned cold. Everything went still. So still, it was suffocating. She turned around. The kitchen was empty, but the cabinet behind her was slowly creaking open, as if some unseen force was pulling it from within. At that moment, she finally understood what was happening, and from that day on, she never dared to step foot in that kitchen again. Thank you all for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please share this story with everyone. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to support me.